All right, everyone. Welcome back to the next chapter of Search produced by SEO Week and iPullRank. If you haven't already got your ticket, we are going to be in New York City. April 28th through May 2nd is going to be a week of the most unbelievable speakers in the world. Like, we are fully international this year, talking everything from SEO, AI, content, digital marketing, and data science. I am so excited. Speaking of which, I'm joined today by Elias Dabbas, who is the creator of advertools, and we are going to talk all about data. What is up, Elias? How you doing, man?
Yes, how are you? Great to meet you, and hello everyone else watching us. Very excited to be part of this conference and looking forward to meeting everyone. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. We have, kind of had this like internet chatting back and forth for a while. We finally get to meet in person. I can't
Yes.
wait to pick your brain. Like, even before we started doing this, we were already just going back and forth. So let me dive in. Dude, what is your perspective on the current state of SEO? Like, big picture, how are you looking at things?
Great. So I'll tackle this from the angle that I work on most. Like I'm not doing SEO per se as I used to long ago. I'm focusing on the data part. And what I see is that in the last 10, 15 years, like we're always dealing with data, whether it's Search Console, Google Analytics, crawl data, log files, you name it, the next keyword tool, and all these things. And what has been happening all the time is that we're getting more sources of data that we have to work with. And the sources have more columns and it's more amounts of data, like in terms of megabytes or rows. So it's becoming overwhelming, and it's difficult to really tease out some just basic questions like what happened are becoming quite overwhelming when you consider like you're working with like 7, 8 data sources, and not to mention your own in-house stuff, whether it's CRM, sales, and so on, in addition to all the standard digital marketing sources. But at the same time, there's something really great and exciting that's happening in the last 10, 15 years. I think it's as a result of all the developments happening in hardware and software that this field of data science has developed. And the great news is that it's, all these empowerments in hardware and software mean that people who have zero programming background can start writing some code and getting really productive. And the great news is that you don't need to become a software developer. This is something that I talk about all the time. A bit of programming, a bit of statistics and math, and your domain knowledge, which is in our case SEO, can go a long way in gaining insights that you didn't know you can gain, answering questions you didn't know you can even ask, and getting really productive in interesting ways like automating your workflows, visualizing data, and so on. Did I talk too much?
No, it's good because to your point, it's overwhelming, but there's so much opportunity if you haven't spent years and years and years learning data science. But there's still a big education factor. There's still a ton of value, which kind of leads right into your topic for SEO week. Can you kind of give some insights into what people will learn? Like, why should they come see you and learn about the value of the data scientist?
Sure. So, what I'm going to try to show is the sweet spot that is available for us as digital marketing people. I'm not going to say that this is better than other ideas or this is right or wrong. I'm just going to say this is the sweet spot with minimal knowledge, minimum viable knowledge, if you want, with a bit of programming, a bit of and lots of data education like visualization, machine learning, statistics, and all these things. They get left out with people focusing on Python only. The sweet spot is you with a Jupyter notebook, a few main data science libraries. I've created one of them. Hopefully this helps, and I'll show some value in it, hopefully. By the end of the talk, I'm going to show a few minutes of how you can really get started from scratch. I actually have a video which is literally 8 minutes where you install Python, install 2, 3 packages, and actually crawl a website from scratch. So I hope this gets people excited about getting started with this field, and then show how similar this is actually to Excel functions. If you know how to run an Excel function, which is you put the name of the function, you open parentheses, and you put a bunch of parameters. This is how we do it in data science in a Jupyter notebook and with all the functions that we have. You don't need to create these functions. Other people have done so. There's a function for crawling websites. There's a function for analyzing log files. There's a function for XML sitemaps, for visualization. Just pick and choose what you want, and hopefully it shows that it's interesting and fun. I'm not going to say that it's easy. Anyone can do this in 2 days. It's not, but just like anything else worth learning, it's worth learning well. Another important thing is that people's SEO knowledge can go a very long way in getting those insights and doing much better data science, because you understand what's going on. And, when you look at status codes, for example, these are not just random numbers. You're not gonna, someone who doesn't know what status codes are might come and get, my average status code is 322.3. Doesn't make sense. But because SEO and these are not quantities, what makes sense. You can look at certain numbers and say, this feels a little off because, this measurement is typically not that big or not that small, and so on. And when I started, I found out that my domain knowledge was really, really helpful in creating some really useful stuff. From a programming perspective, you'd look at them and they'd be like really simple things. But I used to spend weeks generating keywords for PPC campaigns. Just go to the keyword tool. Yes, no, click. No. Wait a minute. Did I miss that? That's my 7,560-second keyword. Oh, that should have been a no. Oops, there goes $5,000. So creating such tools for these things can be much better done if you know the use case. Then, because we're not doing software engineering here, we're not building tools for Google or Amazon. We are just getting productive in our own work with our own laptop, and that's a beginning. Like, if people get started and want to expand and specialize in machine learning, they can do so. Some people, like myself, I wanted to build some tools. It's up to people to do whatever they want. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And I love what you're doing empowers people, because it's like, to your point, all these open source libraries that should be used for SEO, where if you are an SEO, but you're not a full developer, it really empowers you to do a lot of things, to customize things and answer those questions that you might have felt helpless to, or felt dependent on an engineer every time, where it's like, okay, if you do invest a little bit of time, like you said, it's not always just out of the box, but you invest a little time, then you can apply that to your work and be better at what you do in your little slice of the internet. So can you give us what's one specific tactical takeaway for listeners that they can do right now?
So I think we can share the link to that video where we can go from scratch to installing Python and crawling a website within 8 minutes. And I show the full process. Like, it's not. I know many of those videos that we all see online, that someone does something in 3 minutes and then you try it and like, it doesn't work. I get to be that guy this time, but hopefully it works for you.
That's awesome. So yeah, you'll be able to check that out and give it a try, start play with it, either to prep for Elias's talk or to do it, which people will be able to find you online as well, because you're all over the place. I am curious though, the whole theme of this SEO week is the next chapter of search. So many things have happened over the last 12 months, last 24 months. So almost in the context of big data, what's your perspective? Where do you see everything going?
Sure. So I think we're going to have more of what I talked about in the beginning, which is more data sources, more data quantities. There's detailed. That's called generative AI. That's you might have noticed or heard of. That's going to also be obviously very big. And again, I'm going to show that data science skills are going to be very helpful with LLMs prompting them. So the concept of prompt engineering is more like known as communication skills plus keep trying 1,000 times until something works. I'd like to propose that prompt engineering is more about creating a prompt template that you can use and reuse for thousands of pages, let's say. So yes, it's great to take an article and use an LLM to get whatever you want from it, like, extract entities, find the main keywords, the topics, whatever you want, summarize it, rephrase it, and so on. But I think it would be great if we can do this in bulk. And you need very basic programming skills to be able to do that. A for loop where you have, please do X, Y, Z to the following article, where it is well defined, and you can get like 500 classifications of those 500 results in 20 minutes. And that can give a very quick insight, a bunch of insights that you can get started with, because otherwise, if you want to read 500 articles and get the entities and evaluate the titles, and it's going to take a lot of time. And sometimes you're going to be like, well, it's too costly to do this. But if I have a prompt template that I can use to extract all these insights about those hundreds or maybe thousands of URLs, why not do it? If it's going to take a couple of hours. I created an app a few months ago, and I released an update a few days ago, which is using the same concept. It's a prompt template. Please answer the following questions about this article and make sure it's only true and false. And these are like 20 things that are taken from Google's helpful content guidelines. So the idea is, if you get a result that says 80% of your titles are exaggerated and shocking in nature, that's a very good start to know something about your content. Or maybe they're not that authoritative, like you've done your homework well, but it's not the kind of stuff that you would find in a book or an encyclopedia. So that kind of work, that leveraging LLMs in bulk is something that I think is going to be important. That's going to differentiate people, especially who have very basic programming skills. And once you have that minimum viable knowledge, you can prompt the LLM to say, write the code to do this, or help me debug this code for that. And it can you can get a really productive really fast with LLMs without software engineering and building.
That's the key. I'm with you. I mean, because that's the critical upskill right now. Like, yes, you can delve deep. You can get into machine learning and really know, kind of explore this whole discipline. But to get that MVP, the minimum viable MVK,
Okay.
it really is going to be important to basically, I hate to use the term supercharge or superpower, but like leverage the potential of an LLM in a responsible way with data, using its capabilities, and then you provide the insights, the analysis at scale. People can do that. Elias, this is cool. I am super excited to hear your talk. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I really appreciate all the work that you're doing, and I can't wait to be in New York and meet everyone over there.
There you go. So not only would you get to see this really awesome presentation from Elias, but hopefully you can snag him, get some opportunities to chat with him. We can have all of these fun, future of search and data conversations behind closed doors. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, SEO Week is the end of April, the 28th in New York City. Make sure you get it. Produced by iPullRank, and we will see you there. Bye-bye.
See you there. Thank you very much.